Welcome to NBA Today, presented by ESPN Bet. Look who we have here. We have our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojranowski. We have the one and only Chiney, Ogwumike, and the self-appointed director of ambiance.
And who did it?
It was a communal thing.
Richard Riz Jefferson.
It was in collaboration with the NBA and ESPN.
Well, in that collaboration, it feels like we need to get a little bit of an ambiance check on last night, the first night of the knockout stage of the in-season tournament, because it was awesome.
It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was everything that we wanted the in-season tournament to be. And honestly, I think this is only going to get better. This is just the beginning.
Well, because tonight we get Kevin Durant versus LeBron James, and we have one game, a trip to Vegas on the line. The Lakers, they've sort of had a roller coaster of a season, versus the Suns. We really haven't seen them whole at this point yet. Who can make a bigger statement, do you think, with a win tonight, Rich?
To me, I think the Phoenix Suns can. I think the Lakers are getting whole. I don't think that the Phoenix Suns are quite whole yet, obviously, when Bradley Beal, and once they figure out kind of that lineup. And still, they have a brand new head coach in Frank Vogel. So I think that they're building. The Lakers, we know that their cap from last year is conference finals. So if they can get Vanderbilt, they can get all of these guys back healthy and rolling. Now all of a sudden the Lakers are like, okay, they're back to a conference finals looking team.
I agree. The Phoenix Suns have not beat the Lakers yet, and what a better stage. There could be no better stage than this environment, the in-season tournament, where we're seeing that guys are really playing like it's the playoffs. I love this. And again, we know LeBron James, Anthony Davis a couple years ago won a championship. This Phoenix Suns team was assembled to win a championship, with the stakes being very, very high, considering they put all their chips in the middle of the table for this to happen. So this is a great confidence booster for them if they're able to walk out with the win.
And I think for the Suns, like they have to be used to the possibility that at different times this year, maybe even in the playoffs, they only have two of their three best players, whatever the combination is. And will that be enough to carry this team for stretches and weeks, or maybe a playoff series or a playoff series and a half where they don't have Booker, Durant, and Beal all together?
Well, and to that point, we're in December now, and we haven't seen the big three play. What is the outlook for Bradley Beal, Woj?
Well, we're coming up on the 3-week benchmark that the team set when he went out with this back injury. They wanted him to get 100%. They didn't want it to be the in and out every day, to give him time. I'm told he's made great progress. There haven't been any setbacks for him. And I think we'll know better by the end of the week just how soon Bradley Beal could be back. But it may not be long at this point.
No, by the end of the week. Of course, that makes me think, okay, well, Saturday, if the Suns make it that far, would be the finals of the in-season tournament. Maybe, potentially, could we see that happen? But I feel like we have to pause here. Kevin Durant versus LeBron James, the sustained excellence, Woj, that we've seen between these two. We were talking about it in the newsroom a little bit. What stands out to you from that matchup?
The fact that this is still a matchup, and that's because of LeBron James, that in his 21st season, that we all go into that game tonight, there's a real possibility LeBron James could outplay Kevin Durant. That's not out of the question.
Wild.
And the fact that he's doing that when every peer he came into the league with not only is out of the NBA, some of those guys are out of the big three already. and LeBron James...
Some of them are sitting next to us on set, like Richard.
Facts.
And so what LeBron James has done, you know, we talk about this greatest of all time debate. I don't think there's any debate that he's been the greatest, the longest in NBA history.
No, I completely agree. And this is the thing about Kevin Durant and LeBron James. These guys, they do look at each other as in like, hey, these are the opponents. These are the guys that we have to go through. They've both beat each other for championships. LeBron beat him in Oklahoma City. Then Kevin Durant beat him when he was in Cleveland. So when you look at that, they have always been paired together. And when I tell you that these two are two of the most insanely competitive people, on top of being petty, they want to beat each other. They want to have these things. And this is what I was always taught as a kid. If you want to show the ultimate to respect to someone, go beat them. That means that you're taking them seriously. So every single day that these guys have been training, probably since they were 20 years old, they probably had the other person in their eyesight.
Their most points per game in deciding games. Those numbers are astronomical.
Those names, like
legendary.
Numbers, incredible. The names are legendary. But if we're talking about wins and losses, as much as it is Kevin Durant, as much as it is LeBron James, we also, it feels like we need to talk about Anthony Davis and where he fits in all this, because as AD goes, it seems it's a little bit overly simplistic. As AD goes, the Lakers go, right? Davis is averaging 6.5 more points per game in wins and losses, also grabbing more rebounds, shooting better from the field. Let's bring in the host of the wildly successful Low Post podcast, Mr. Zach Lowe, into this conversation because just like AD, you elevate the ceiling of every show that you are on, Zach. So we're glad to have you here with us. What do you need to see from AD tonight if the Lakers are going to punch their ticket to Las Vegas?
First of all, the first thing I want to see is one more button up from Richard Jefferson. This is daytime television. I can't be looking at that. Anthony Davis is shooting 23% on long twos. So every time I watch the Lakers, I'm like, man, where is that jumper? Is there any hope for that jumper? And if there isn't, it's really hard for the Lakers to win when he scores 14, 15 points. So how are you going to manufacture 22, 23, 24 if that jumper from the bubble just hasn't left Florida? Maybe that's facing up and blowing by Yusuf Nurkic tonight. Maybe it's in the pick and roll with LeBron James. He's got to get points. And defensively, I know we don't want to talk about defense. Defense is for nerds. What a great challenge for Anthony Davis. What a great way for him, a great chance for him to stamp his Defensive Player of the Year case with the pick and roll game of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant getting it far enough out to stop their mid-range jumpers and then having to deal with Yusuf Nurkic, who's a bruiser in the post. He's got to do a little bit of everything against this team, and he can do it.
Defense is for nerds. Nerd is present and available and attentive. I was so happy with that segue, Zach, because I do think a lot of times we talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and the offense, but the reality is the way this team is currently constructed as they're waiting for final pieces to come back is that they have to win with their defense. And if they're going to win with their defense, they need AD to be Defensive Player of the Year. We started off the season saying he should be an MVP for them to win a championship. We all know if someone shows you who they are, you got to believe them. Defensively, this guy can be elite. He leads the NBA right now in blocks per game. Bring that same energy. That is a catalyst that not only allows your offense to go, but allows LeBron James to be his best self because he's excellent in transition. So the version of Anthony Davis we need to see, as much as the points make me happy, I think the reality is the defense is the crucial component for them to get a win.
Anthony Davis is the answer. Anthony Davis is the ultimate whatever you want to say in this game, whether it's for the Lakers or the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns don't really have an answer to guard him. They don't have an answer to guard him. And on the offensive end or on the defensive end, he can do so much. So, yes, we're going to focus on LeBron. We're going to focus on AD because those guys are the catalyst.
Right.
But if you had to pick who was going to be the decider, whether it's going to be Devin Booker, whether it's going to be Anthony Davis, that's where the fun
It's got to be AD, though, because of the matchup. Because if you look at it X's and O's, he has the greatest opportunity on the floor versus who he's going up against, right, Richard?
That's 90% of the time. There's only 3 people in this entire league that he does not have the advantage against. I would say Jokic,
Embiid.
Giannis, and Embiid. Those are the only 3.
Well, and it feels like, I mean, we sit up here and loudly, and understandably so, because we have high expectations for Anthony Davis, and we know what the Lakers can be when he is excellent, criticize him when he is struggling. Over the last 5 games, I know it's been against the Rockets. I know it's been against the Thunder. I know he struggled a little bit with 17 and 11 against
the Rockets.
Philadelphia. But he has been awesome these last 5 games. So now you have a chance with a real opponent, even though they're not at full strength, with the Phoenix Suns in front of you, to say, hey, this is not a fluke. Like, go get it. Go do it. Because, like, this is what we want to see from Anthony Davis. And he's been doing it the last 5 games. Can he push it in an in-season tournament games where it matters even more? Like, that's what I'm excited to see.
Well, we all are excited to see it because we know he's that guy.
Right.
Now, whether Anthony Davis gives a damn about that, if the question is like, we can all watch this game and be like, if Anthony Davis is that dog tonight, the Lakers are going to win.
But the key factor, though, is to bring that dog out is literally passing him the ball. Because it's when he goes passive that's the problem for the Lakers. If they feed him the ball, he gets more aggressive, and I feel like that's the better outcome.
Man, Devin Booker is just an incredible player, man. He really fierce competitor, taking this game to an entirely, completely different level over the years since he's been in the league. And Kevin is Kevin. Biggest thing with those guys, man, is just they keep you can't get discouraged. You definitely got to have a multiple effort mentality, but yet still more so a next play mentality because you can play the perfect defense and they still score.
So Darvin Ham clearly knows what makes Booker special, but Zach, he's averaging career highs across the board. Beyond the raw numbers, how can you best sort of sum up what Book is doing and his impact for Phoenix here?
He does everything, and that's the best thing you can say about him. He came into this league, people thought great shooter. Klay Thompson was the comparison. This dude is averaging 8.5 assists a game. 8.5. That's a career high. The Suns not having a point guard has not been a problem because Devin Booker is ready to be the point guard. 6 rebounds a game. That's a career high. And people don't talk enough about Devin Booker's defense. He has built himself into a really solid defensive player who can guard 2 or 3 positions. He's just a great all-around player. And look, we've been talking about how Beal hasn't played. Someone's always out for the Suns.
Yeah.
Their record is kind of at 11-8. When they have Durant and Booker healthy by themselves, they can beat anybody on any given night. And if they can get healthy at any time, this team is absolutely an inner circle championship contender because this dude has turned him into a jack of all trades and master of all of them too.
Well, and that's what Woj was saying. It may be that the Suns need to get used to at any given point not having all of their big 3 out there. But in some ways, is this why you have this big 3?
Are you talking to me or yeah? I don't. Are you talking? Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. If you break down every single player in the entire league, the most impressive player to me has been Devin Booker. He has been the first person that has been asked to change for the betterment of the team at an extremely high level. We know he has the ability to lead the league in scoring. We know all of these things. So when he says, okay, everyone, we talked about, do they have a point guard? Do they have someone that can distribute to Bradley Beal, to Grayson Allen, to get Nurkic, all of these guys involved? He's like, all right, I'll go and have a career high in assists and still be an elite scorer. So the fact that he has done all of these things shows to me it has been so impressive what he has done in this short amount of time, establishing that he is their point guard and he's a high-level scorer.
And that transition is not easy.
No,
we need you to pass, but then also you're still giving us career highs in numbers and scoring. But one thing I want to talk about is one thing that Zach highlighted. It's not just the scoring, it's the defense. Because especially when you're missing that third piece like a Bradley Beal, how are you going to be able to compete with the best? I mean, we've seen plays over the last few games of Kevin Durant literally chasing down and swatting the ball. He's 35 years old. Devin Booker, the last few years, he's become two-way in a way that is so necessary for his team. So I think a lot of times we fall in love with the stats and the numbers and the offense, but it's really the commitment to doing whatever it takes.
That's what it is. It's the commitment. It's like whatever you need. If you told him,
he's a hooper super.
If you told him, hey, I need to go get me a double-digit rebounds every night, he would go do it.
Right.
And that's the greatness of Devin Booker, and that's the thing that I didn't know he had this in him. I knew he was an elite scorer.
When did you know?
I would say at the end of last year.
Okay.
Like last year, you're kind of seeing, even during that finals run, when they had it, that one I was like, okay, maybe, because he's not Kevin Durant. He's not Steph Curry. He doesn't have this explosion.
Not when he went 8-0 in the bubble?
No, the 8-0 in the bubble I didn't care about. I saw the next year when they went to the finals with Chris Paul, you're like, okay, maybe he is different. When he scored 70 points on a losing team, that didn't do it. When I see now, he has shown me more than any single one player has this season, as in, what do you need me to do? It's kind of James Harden.
In order to take the next step.
But it's even James Harden-esque when you talk about James Harden averaging 35 and being like, screw it, I'll just go lead the league in assists a couple of times.
Not easy.
Devin Booker has that ability, and people don't understand. If he couldn't shoot the ball, if Devin Booker got rid of his three-point shot today, he could still be an NBA player because he could lead the league in assists and be a point guard. Not many people have that skill set.
Not to mention he balls out when he plays in Crypto.com Arena. 47, 11 rebounds to close out the Lakers in Game 6 of 2021. We all remember that. Whoever wins this game tonight, they book a trip to Las Vegas and get the chance to play Zion Williamson
Jefferson
and the Pelicans.
I'm on fire. It's NBA,